what you may have missed in any of the shows and keep the conversation going after the conversation may have ended on radio. And remember to like and follow the pages as appropriate. Well, I hope you've had a fine midweek so far. Things are working out and looking up in spite of the many things you've got to deal with. And we'll touch on a couple of those in the course of today's show. And you're welcome to join in once again. So let's see, how about a quick preview of what to expect on today's edition of Hard Facts. And by the way, it's got a couple of days to go before do I say the side B? I don't know, for the youngins these days, are they Gen Z or what are they called these days? You might not know what side B is. You know, back in the day, there was something we used to call cassettes. They were called radio cassettes. You did a tape player to play them. And remarkable. We used to use this cassette tapes to play them, and there was a side A and there was a side B. And it's like kind of like CDs, compact discs, even though you might not know what I'm talking about, even with compact discs. But that's what they were. There was like this technological gizmo back then, and you were a big deal if you owned what's about referred to as a mobile device. To music, this is your phones right now. You know, back then, if you had Walkman, it was a very big deal. You were the coolest kid on the street. No, scrap the street. You were the coolest kid on the block. No, scrap the block. You were one of the coolest kids in the whole local government area if you had a Walkman back then. You know, and then you had the tape, and then you would play side A, and then when it was, and then the versions automatically in reverse. You didn't have to flip the verse. That was the era of compact discs, you know. So you had the circular things. There were discs that contained information. You could store anything on them, you know, music or files on them, and you would put compact disc, the disc man. You would skip. The music playing would be interrupted somewhat. And then some of the newer versions of the Discman had some technology. I forgot what it was called right now. But even if you around, the song you were playing would not skip. Who remembers what that was called? At the Discman had that function. Even if you jumped around or you were playing or you were jumping around, it would not skip. The keep playing fluently or fleet, pardon me, like you weren't jumping around at all. Who can help with what that's called? Can someone help with that, please? What was that function called? Someone here said via WhatsApp said auto reverse. Yeah, that's it. No, auto reverse was for the Walkman. That's auto reverse was. Thank you for that, by the way. That was auto reverse. When the tape got to the end, it would automatically play in the direction. That was auto reverse. What I'm asking for is, what was that function called on the disc that it would not skip? What am I doing, by the way? Yes, welcome. Just remembering some good old days. Some good, and I'm sure. I mean, there's a generation right now that has no idea, absolutely no idea what I've just been rambling out the last couple of minutes. Have no idea at all. One, if finally Dio had lost his mind, like we thought he would, by the way. You know. Well, I'm taking response to the question via WhatsApp on 0306416 0809 306416. Who remembers what that was called? I think of the response here. Let's see. Oh yes, thank you very much. Anti-shock. Yes, that's it. That's what it was called. Anti-shock. Yeah, and it was a very big deal, by the way. If you had this man, that was a big deal. You're like the coolest kid in the state. Okay, maybe not the states. But if you had one that came with anti-shock, well, you got a whole new, like a different universe, you know. That was pretty cool. Those were definitely, yeah. and I get there, but how did all of this? Don't quite remember. Anyways, welcome again. Hope you're having a good day so far. And I look to the elections coming. Yep, this Saturday, governorship or gubernatorial and state House of ME elections coming up this Saturday. I hope you're prepared to vote. Yeah. We'll touch on that in the course of discussions today. Remember to join in via the platforms I mentioned earlier. At the appropriate time, call 070093093 070093093. Some floppies came to my head now. I don't know why. I know it's kind of the moment. How about a preview of what to expect on today's show? So I got some comments coming up. Random stories mentioned earlier today. Random thoughts on those. Yep. In case of yes, Kibali, what's been going on His Majesty back right now. You know. So back to the side comments about something in my mind, expressing some thoughts on it. About your take on it all the way till 4 p.m. The 4-week news coming up. It's another Wednesday. As for some time, we're going to be discussing the development of the Niger Delta region and yet another exciting edition of Canvas Niger Delta Roundtable. Now today on Canvas Net, we're discussing election 2023. AB voting in the next elections. My guest, Barrister Young Ayatamo, joined me in the studio. He's the Director, National Orientation Agency here in Rivers State. Join us for that. After the 4 p.m. news, until still about 5. At 5 o'clock, we've got these updates coming up. Yes, sir. And after that, I'd like for you get canvas and your paint brushes out, whip them out, poster color, as we call them back in school, even primary school as well. And I'd like for you to portrait or next governor of Rivers State for me. Paint portrait of that person. You know, the election is on Saturday. It's not today. So we're talking about next of Rivers State, and we'll be discussing antecedents. How important are the antecedents? How important are they in your estimation? How important are a thing that existed before or logically precedes another? This person who might become very well will be the next of Rivers State, what has to be not before now? Basically, that's what antecedent is. What qualities should the next governor of Rivers State possess? What should be the antecedent of the next government? To get you taken that in the 5 o'clock hour. Headlines 5:30, major news at 6 a.m. A recap of all these matters afterwards during the opposition segment till about 7 o'clock when they'll wrap up today. That's it. Review of today's show. Well, right into it with today's segments and rant and with a quick commercial. I'll return. Please stay tuned.
With Ayo.
I'm actually hard for today. I'm Dial. Let's talk. 27 minutes. Before the break, and at the sort of show today, some minutes ago, I enter what to call it, and we're talking about bits of your, and some technology gizmo that was rave of time, which literally does not exist any longer these days. And I said, I'm sure there's some person who have no idea what I'm talking about right now. And I got a message over here. Someone says, I'm really lost here. Maybe you guys can put up pictures of what you're talking about on any of your social media handles. And that's well, okay, no tech guys are going to do that, or the media guys are going to do that over here. But you it seems obvious you're using a smartphone since you send message in right now using one of the social media apps. So just do a quick Google search. Look for the disc. Look for Walkman. Look for cassette tape play or cassette tape or something like that. And you find what I'm talking about. You find lots of images online. I'm certain of that. Anyways, so back to so I gave you a preview of tracks on the show today. We're discussing and change to find out split. We'll get to go in now today's side comments. There's random stories and a random thought came across the the news earlier on. Let's start with this one. INEC in Rivers State has started the distribution and movement of sensitive materials to 10 gov areas. Another person results for the governorship and state elections were inspected. Election diverse include particulation at the headquarters of CBN Iboka today. I hope it was a safe situation. I sincerely hope that the sensitive materials were safe. I hope so, because and I hope that I don't know if possible, but I hope that the limited access to this material that and accesses were limited, were not given access. It's plain sensitive materials before honorables. Let me rephrase that. Plain election or INEC sensitive materials before honorables and excellence is like displaying blood before vampires. And if you've seen a vampire movie, or a good vampire movie, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, vampires cannot find it extremely difficult to resist the scent or the sight of blood. It's a big there. And somehow, ask me how, somehow I get feeling that blood is to vampires what election-sensitive materials It's honorable and excellent. I get a hunch, it's a hunch, and sometimes I get hunches. I get the feeling that same way vampires find blood to exist. I get the feeling that honorable excellency get them feeling as well. Imagine honorable excellency in the same room for election. Oh my goodness, oh my word! He's going to be so drawn to them. He's going to want to just grab them. Oh goodness, look at that ballot box. Look at the way the ballot box just looks. Also squish with those edges and smooth sides and just boxy. Oh, look at those papers. Look at the papers. So smooth with the sharp edges. Oh, sensitive. They're so sensitive, these papers. Sensitive ballot papers. Look at this lovely looking sensitive materials. Please, if there's something that INEC should do, let's prevent all the excellence from getting sensitive materials. Or INEC sensitive materials, but they won't be able to control themselves. Those sensitive materials. It does things to them. It does things nobody seems to understand. So, Chinri was arrested with almost $5,000. The presidential and National Assembly elections has been arraigned in court, which resumed today at the Federal High Court of High. He, however, pleaded not guilty to the money laundering charge against him by the police. Igwe represents Harcourt constituency, was arrested by the police with $498,100 related to the distribution of money during a stop and search operation at about 2 a.m. on February 24. What could he have intended to do with that money? There are many things in it. Was it for okay? I'll leave speculation alone. Matters in court. What happens when the court hearing? Hearing the matter, I suppose. But your guess as man what that he intended to do with such an amount of money. Matters that possibly might check out news early on tonight too. Lots of matters in election in Naira, understandably so, of course, and interesting situation. National of the Labour Party judges have resolved River State Executive Council of the party was in effect yesterday. 10 hours after the state chairman of Daniel Pepple up to appear governorship date, similar for Mara, as its preferred candidate for March election. Statement no chairman said to watch this for grants activities and corruption. Earlier, Pepple held a media briefing to announce that Labour has adopted the PDP governorship candidate as its third candidate for the March 11 election. But in a swift reaction, Director of Media and Publicity of Beatrice Itubo Governorship Campaign Council, Obidima, denied this. He said the Labour Party governorship candidate, Beatrice Itubo, is still in the governorship race and remains the candidate to beat come March 11. It's interesting indeed. And the politicians realize that after the election still have a life. You still have a life. That there are people who know you. Every centre of their crowd have a village you're going to back to. People who know you. You've got friends who know you. You've got acquaintances. You've got neighbours. If you're a religious person, you've got a church you go to. You've got a mosque that you go to. You've got you've got the places. There are people who know you. You're going to a social station. Other places have no surprises there. So once again, the services of advocate of Nigeria presidential candidates, it will be interesting how the deals is latent of cases that will, and some of them handfully. No hope that the judiciary lives up that uphold the law, no hope the judiciary up constitution. I can only hope so. I think that's going to be for. Then maybe this side says, please mark for instance furious in a notable passion actions and some kind of I was with a list which includes also the concept of that event. For this segment, it's all for happy men's to all women. Everyone needs the world gun, but maybe it does. So women definitely around. Reminds me of a song I don't remember the song right now. But some don't I don't think some part of the song was done in Yoruba, especially the chorus. Something about it's in English, something about you're the only one's going to be successful or make me or be rich. Don't think that the rest of us are not going to make this money as well. At some point in one of the verses, he said something like, that he's the only person here. He thought that there'll be no woman to be in there then, and he'll be into the cinemas. That's not mean women are deaf to that men can then free them now. Or women are simply that name. That's the point. But you get the point. Symbolization, they just make work. They just know making work. They don't mix Naira always 50 Naira fish and 50 Naira periwinkle and dry peppers, some dry fish, something make work. And that's the when they can make things work. They create something out of nothing. And they're incredible leads. So happy International Women's Day for the women. Every year, I believe, and International Women's Day, a global day created as of course the women's rights to pay attention to gender and violence abuse again. So celebrate all the women around if you can today, especially. Oh, but today's also reminding me what the title of the song is from today. Only by Two Face. Thank you very much. That's the title of the song. Only by Two Face. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's that. See for today's seconds. But just before we move via setting material, that's a very good example as well. Like living in of woods. You think that the goat just lit, that juicy brown white apples. All right, break. Return. Sound comes up. Please with us. I heard him die 9 to before. I'd like those. I've got something I'm expressing a thought on it. Like egg. I feel about it was a couple of days ago. It was a couple of days ago. In the neighbor line, couldn't go to. That did not work. I saw him much later than the time he should have gone to work. So this something, and so I asked him. I go, "Oh, you're around to work today? Is it okay?" Oh, no. And he replied, "Of course." Work was that he had no cash. He couldn't get cash. That could not go to work because. And that's perfectly understandable. He would transport himself to, and required all transportation to make it for him to get to. Would have to pay for whether it's no or 1,500 drops the case. Maybe he had zero cash in him, and I'm yet to hear he dropped to Koro, for example, to Room C as accepting transfer. I don't know if it's there. Go for Koro to Efforts accepts transfer or use a POS machine. I'm yet to find it, but I come as a transporter, a care rider that then is go to. And the situation is not only at a lot of evidence, I'm sure, apparently to find himself in a similar situation or situation because of the confusion. And I think that would aptly describe this policy, whatever it's called these days, of the CBN, as far as Naira knows that. It's a humongous confusion. And today serves another reminder that I've reminded several to leaders that do not stifle its progress. That's not the intent. Or that should be the intent. It might be some very pain, because sometimes change is convenient. But the confusion is that items are confounded as to what exactly is going on, as to what exactly government is trying to accomplish. Next story I came across, Daily Post. Naira resign. CBN keeps banks business a confusion. This is after the Central Bank Naira's Naira policy. The ex-bank has remained silent. However, experts show that starting them as 500 Naira, and that's the post to run May banks, the nation's capital, lends that some 5,000 notes. When our correspondent visited the branch of services confirmed development. However, the owner must feel that cash up from the manager gave a directive. The Supreme Court verdict validated the votes revealed and regarded 2023. Today, March 8th, we've got at least 12 days to March 20. A lot of things are going wrong in the country, but never the work. A couple of days ago, at least 10 million of the Nigerian, every of the mission, when all Steve argued about the Naira policy into Israel. And as far as the new these notes are concerned, can access to the cashless transaction are extremely heavy these days. If you're able to leave work church Sundays giving this, or if you can wait till Wednesday, week service, and share a testimony saying, "Praise God, the Lord. I did transfer and the child, praise the Lord." It's really what's going on. See if not ruling and of the highest court in the land, stating that the notes being used till the end of the CBN presidency is yet a matter. How did the condition of my retirement? No government policy should be this difficult to implement. Once again, policy because sometimes it should be convenient. It might even be confusing for some persons who get all their forms up on Facebook. It might be confusing for them. But no government policy should be this confusing. Should be this hard to implement and being violate orders of the court in the land. It doesn't matter what it is. No matter how good it was to everyone back to us. It should not be used, should not ignorant abuse regard of the orders of the highest court. I hope this serves as another reason to the Liberia that was once again to help the aspirants of people to ensure the truth and the life and common round. Hope you enjoy 09303. We're live on Facebook.com /Nigeria Info PH, on Twitter at Nigeria Info PH. Well, hello to welcome this one.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi there, go on.
Okay, this is Solid. Okay, like you cited, no policy should be as different as this particular policy. As a matter of fact, I was out for going higher, particularly to not favor Nigerians, especially comments. Because it's really hard to go into banks to make withdrawal banning. Look at what BM is doing. Our president previously came on air to make it time for him to come clear the air that has been signed because the common people are suffering. Just about that, if what judges is contradictory, then the policy is illegal. It was declared illegal. illegal. You also say that you use to the end. So I don't understand what people are doing hotly. In summary, they need to punish Nigerians. Thank you much.
You're welcome. You'll take here on 093 Nigeria Facebook.com. Look at your take. Take a look to go at 4 o'clock. That won't be on this. Welcome, please go.
Yeah, this accountant. I cannot access it. Last week Friday. She was out of this. My ADM expired. That's why I got it all wrong. CM expired. I cannot do far. I cannot eat things like 3 days. I'll be hungry. My children is going to. Thank you very much.
I talked to him yesterday for work from Birikore Junction by NA to Egbe Road out to walk. So it means I'm going to keep that until 20th March. Drivers and say has no speech regarding 101. Hello, you please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm calling Shay. My name is the farmer. You see, the judgment of the Supreme Court is something. How can the Supreme Court, the health of the land, the policy of the bank is not correct, good, not on. Then the Supreme Court is not in the vote. So be good. Me, I think the class struggle as a struggle between a section of people in government, both the judiciary and executive. This is what I see. If not, I do understand, if it's not a lawyer, that we are told that Central Bank has a everything about the policy, how money is designed, how when it should be used as a or not. But in this our case, those who belong to the ruling party, who took the federal government and CBN to court. And at last, the judgment from for me, they are writing they are using, and we are copying. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, also. I do have a commercial break to attend to right now, though. A short one, I suppose, from what I'm seeing over here. I'll return right after that to take more responses on Naira today till about 4 o'clock. Deeply stay tuned. Hard fact to be back in a bit. Hello and welcome back. It is Hard Fact to Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dyer. We got about 3 minutes ago before 4 p.m. So very quickly, some more responses to my rant earlier on. And I was simply talking about the redesign of Naira, the new Naira policy of the CBN and by extension the federal government, and how no policy of government, no matter how well intentioned, should this frustrating, confusing, or difficult to implement, really, or should even matter be in a flagrant violation or disregard for the orders of the higher court in the land, the Supreme Court in this case. I got a few comments as well. Someone goes, where is that? There was the one I saw here. It looked like an indictment. Initially, you in particular supported the cash policy. Even we told you it wasn't going to work. You can defend the CBN policy and deadline. So I see no reason why you should criticize this policy now. Maybe I need to explain that briefly. Here is the thing. Most government policies, I don't want to say, there could be an exception, But most government policies, especially in this climate, are not entirely terrible. I mean, they sound good. Implementation issue. I mean, what is intrinsically wrong with redesigning any currency? Oh, in this case, redesigning the Naira. Intrinsically, there's nothing wrong with that. Other countries of the world do that from time to time. Even the UK right now, or more precisely, the English have redesigned some of their currency notes at the moment. So, and other countries do it from time to time also. And some of the reasons given to check money laundering, to check crime as well, especially kidnap for ransom, to check several other things, they are good. And also to encourage and instill a cashless policy in Nigeria. Nothing wrong with this. The implementation happens to be the problem, which is where we usually get government policy wrong in Nigeria. An example is when the state government, for example, in Nigeria, tells you that they're implementing free education as a free education policy. And then parents take their wards of children to school, and then they hear that they have to pay 20,000 for something. And then they hear they have to pay 5,000 for this. And then they hear they have to pay 3,000 for that. And then you hear the same government announces that they've paid for examinations for students, and then exams come, and the pool or headmaster or head teacher says you have to pay 3,000 for this, or 25,000, and then you have to pay to submit your exam papers and all of that. So that's it. Imitation is the bane of policy in Nigeria, more than not. And not necessarily. Anyways, I'll wrap up on that note. We got business news coming up shortly, and Canvas to Niger Delta Roundtable to DC. After that, discussing ACO voting, NOA Director in River State, I'm John Smith. Deeply with us, in a bit.